Hey everyone, welcome to Blade and Brush. I'm Mike, your wet shaver, back after a long time with another video. Man, not having a set schedule can be freeing because you're not under any pressure to produce videos, but at the same time, I do want to produce them, and I rarely have time anymore. Or the privacy to do it because my aunt was home all last week on vacation because she uses up her vacation days to just stay home and putter around the house. So yeah, so a whole bunch of different stuff happening, and plus I get busy on my days off these days, going to doctor's appointments and trying to set up other stuff. So yeah, it's just been crazy. We just came out of our start weeks for where I'm working, where I have to work leads and get last minute registrations where I am. And the last couple turns have been pretty rough too. So trying to get people to answer their phones or clear their voice messages or even set up their voice mailboxes is something of a challenge. Yeah, I'm using my Barbasol, so I'm doing an after work shave, as you can see from the thumbnail. So my aunt's picking me up after work because she needs my help to go shopping with her, pick up some groceries. We don't need many, so I don't anticipate anything, but I just ended my work shift for the day. Although I'm going to try and log back on after I pick up my blood pressure pills because I got a renewed prescription. But there was a whole bunch of text messages that needed to be sent out, and after I get back, I'm going to try and see if I can clear as many out as I can. Use up any of the overtime hours that are available. When you're in recruitment for anything, whether it's university or sales or anything else, it's a very quota-driven job. And the thing about sales and recruitment jobs is your job security is only as good as your last quarter. Sometimes only as shortly as your last week. Because I've worked in telemarketing before, and believe me, it is rough. Even people who were previously on a strong streak and hit slumps ended up being laid off. But anyway, enough of complaining about my job. I don't mean to complain. Just wanted to give you the heads up on the reality of the industry. If you're ever thinking of going into jobs that involve recruitment or sales, know what you're getting into. And make sure you can handle it. But yeah, my aunt's poor cat was diagnosed with diabetes. Yes, apparently cats can get diabetes. So she needs insulin shots twice a day. And of course, the problem is that being a cat, she doesn't like getting insulin shots. And they hurt, obviously. And this is a cat that doesn't like being picked up and held either. And so I'm often drafted into helping to catch the cat. And given my spinal injuries and my connective tissue disorder, I'm not exactly Mr. Quick. But the thing is, though, this cat isn't actually overweight. If anything, she's underweight. So I honestly don't know how she developed diabetes. Unless it's just something genetic. Or maybe age-related, I don't know. She is up there in years for a cat. So for Mother's Day, my aunt's daughter got her a new television, a tabletop television, because the one she was using died. It was like over 30 years old, and so it still had like that big picture tube. Problem is, it's one of those new flat screen TVs that apparently makes you first log into any one of a dozen streaming or cable options, instead of just going directly to the TV signal, like a normal TV. And given that my aunt is 76 and has had COVID at least 3 times and is having memory issues, just trying to remember a new television setup, it is a bit of a learning curve. Her long-term memory is still good, but her short-term memory, it's like, just don't get COVID. You don't need the brain damage, and that accumulates the more you get it. SARS-CoV-2 does accelerate brain aging, which is why there's such an uptick in dementia, including among younger people who shouldn't be getting it that early. And also instances of seizures and other stuff, brain shrinkage. And now it looks like we might have another pandemic on top of the one we're already still in and trying to pretend away. So that Andean hantavirus is able to leap from humans to humans. And instead of making the people on that cruise ship quarantine for 45 days to make sure that the incubation period isn't missed, they're just letting passengers go about their way to spread the virus to everyone around them. And then when Bill Gates says we need to prepare for the next pandemic, people want to start conspiracy mongering. And say, oh yeah, it's another pandemic. No. He's just stating the obvious, okay? We are not prepared for future pandemics, and we need to be. And the hantavirus outbreak is liable to develop into a pandemic because people are stupid and they want to put their own convenience above the needs of everyone else. Like, sorry, you do not have a right to spread a virus. And I know I'm getting political on a shaving channel. I know I'm not supposed to. Tough tacos. Politics is a part of life. Same thing as religion, same thing as death, same thing as taxes. Politics affects us all in ways we can't even begin to fathom. That's why the war between Russia and Nazi Ukraine, which resulted in sanctions on Russia, meant that companies like Gillette had to pull out their stakes in factories that they had controlling interest in that were based in Russia, which is manufacturing a lot of the safety razor blades we wet shavers use. And so they shifted production to a factory in India. Where the quality control isn't nearly as good as the one in St. Petersburg, Russia. And then Europe, in its vastly finite wisdom, has banned the use of tallow for cosmetic purposes because of the fear of contamination from any nerve or brain tissue, and with it, mad cow disease. It is a policy choice, and it is why so many formerly popular soaps in the wet shaving community have either gone under or had to shift to a plant-based formula because of politics, you know. So, like I said, I know politics can be pretty divisive, but if you talk about it right, you know, without getting partisan and focus on the effects of stuff on people, like I am, you know, because, you know, this isn't like a left or right issue or whatever. It's just, you know, it's policies, you know, cause and effect. You can't talk about that and stay neutral and respect other people's opinions. You know, you just got to be diligent about it and not attack people personally. You know, I'm sure other wet shavers have their political opinions that they keep to themselves. You know, I don't pressure them on it, but you know, I'm not going to begrudge them their opinions because we're all just on the same planet trying to get by. We all have our different points of view. You just got to learn to respect them to the extent that you're able to, and you know, live with it. All right, so while that's working, let me... Okay, you see this little thing? Yeah. It always pops up after pumping out some of the shave foam. I guess there's residual pressure. After you use it, it just puts out, like, whatever is left over, it just comes right out. Yeah. Yeah, this Mule R89 has become sort of my new go-to after my Mirko 34 and my Razor Rock Goat. Because while I love both of those razors, I don't get nearly as many nicks or cuts with this, regardless of blade, as I do with most of my other razors, which is a little bit more aggressive. And while I can blow off most nicks, you know, I mean, it can be irritating, you know. This, by the way, was Pinot Man's Virgin Island Bay Rum, Aftershave Splash, and Cologne. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not usually a Bay Rum fan. I think it's kind of overrated. But sometimes you'll find a brand that will surprise you. Yeah, then we got Duke Cannon's Post-Shave Balm. A lot of people have been complaining about Duke Cannon lately. Changed the formulation. I think the company might have been sold to another buyer. And they've reformulated some of their body washes and deodorants and other items, and eliminated some from the lineup, like the trench warfare deodorants that I used to like. But it's still pretty good, though. All right, so yeah, Barbasol Thick and Rich extra moisturizing, and then the Mule R89 with the Pole Silver Super Iridium, which is on. Actually, I lost count of how many shaves I've had with this. But yeah, it's actually been a pretty decent razor and long lasting. So when you get a good razor and blade combo that suits your face, you want to stick with it. And usually the razors that you load into that razor, they will give you a very good shave with very little to no nicks or irritation, just because of the way the head and base plate are designed. So yeah, anyway, that's my after-work rambling shave. This video is already almost 21 minutes long, so I'm going to go ahead and say please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a video. Until next time, this is Mike for Blade and Brush, signing off.